Hello, welcome to Yin Yoga. My name is Jody Decker and I'm recording this video for the York County Library in South Carolina. For today's practice, please grab a mat or a towel, and if you have one or two blocks handy, it could be beneficial. If you don't have yoga blocks, you can also use a small firm couch cushion, and you might also get comfort from using a rolled up blanket. And I'll give you some different options so far you can put that. So for today's class, Yin Yoga is meant to hold each stretch, each posture a little bit longer. So anywhere from 1 to 5 minutes. This creates a deeper stretch, really giving our muscles time to respond and release and relax and lengthen. So it's a very still practice, giving us lots of time to focus on our breath. And for the sake of time, since we have 30 minutes today, we'll be holding each pose for about a minute, and I'll make sure it's even on both sides. So let's go ahead and come into your comfortable seated position, and we'll create a little bit of warmth before we get started. Our seated position can be any way that feels comfortable to your body. So if it's not sitting like I am, perhaps it's with your legs out and extended, that's perfectly acceptable. Anything that works. We're gonna close our eyes and begin to find your yoga breath, which is breathing in through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Each breath fills our belly with air to the point that it actually expands as we inhale. And then on the exhale, our belly will soften as it moves back in. It's really important to maintain this key point of our belly rising and falling with each breath, especially in Yin Yoga as we hold our poses for a little longer length of time. Let's use our next inhale to take both arms all the way up overhead, stretching tall, and then exhale, slowly release. Let's do that just a few more times. Really settling into our bodies and paying attention to both the body and breath, noticing how they work together. On your next inhale, let's interlace our fingertips together, turning the palms straight up, and then we'll reach over to our left, being careful to keep both hips connected to our mat. We're opening up our side body. Inhale, come back to center, and then exhale, other side. Inhale your way back to center. Exhale, palms move out in front. Let's round through our upper back. Push the shoulder blades apart and really drop the chin to the chest. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, baby back bend. And I have 2 mats set up here today just to show you different views of different poses. Inhale, back to center, and then exhale, hands to heart center. Moving our hands down to our hips, let's start to circle from the waist. You can start with a smaller circle and then begin to make it a little bit bigger. Let's do one more, and then we'll reverse directions. Right here, we'll go ahead and reverse directions. Using our breath. Let's do one more. And then we're gonna make our way into tabletop, which is all fours. So side view, very important that we stack our joints. So my hips are directly on top of my knees, with shoulders being directly on top of the wrist. And if you have issues with your wrist, sometimes it can feel better to make a fist for a wrist, or sometimes it might feel better to even bring your palms up on top of your blocks. So we're gonna come into Shakavakasana, which is cat-cow, and continue to warm up the spine. We inhale, drop our bellies way down to the mat, gaze comes up, And then we exhale, tuck and round. So we're slowly making our way back and forth from flexion to extension. And remember, there's no hurry to get anywhere. So move as slow as you need to. Let's do one more in each direction. And then we can open up our knees, taking them a little bit wider, sinking our hips back to our heels, walking our hands out, and finding child's pose. So in this pose, it should feel restorative and restful. You should be creating a lot of comfort for your body. And this is one of the poses I mentioned. If you had a rolled up blanket, you might want to try putting it behind your knees and just seeing how that feels. Really taking your breath into the tight area or areas of your body. And when we experiment with the blanket, just notice the difference from child's pose with the blanket to child's pose without the blanket. Inhale, come back up into tabletop, and let's move our right palm directly under the nose, and then inhale, left fingertips sweeping up. So we're opening our body into a spinal twist. Go ahead and turn your gaze up to the ceiling, and let's hold for 3 or 4 deep breaths. Maybe with each exhale, we can focus on pulling our shoulder back just a little bit more, creating a deeper twist. If it feels good, you could circle out your wrist. Just make sure you do a few in both directions. And then on our next exhale, we'll bend this elbow, thread the needle, come all the way through, resting our head. So we want to make sure that we have space between the ear and the shoulder here. For some of us, this could be perfectly deep enough. If it's not, begin to walk your right fingertips to the top of the mat, or you can reach tall to the ceiling, or you can even find the bind. So now we're going to begin to work our way into more of our yin holds of 1 minute. And sometimes this is pushing our bodies a little outside of our comfort zone. So this is a really good time to really bring your awareness in. Notice how each pose is fitting your body today. And then making any small adjustment that could create just a little bit more comfort for us. And if you're used to a quicker flow practice, you might really think, oh my gosh, this is a long time to be holding. But just think you are doing something so beneficial for your body. With our next exhale, we will begin to unwind. Take the left palm up once more. And release our left palm down. So bringing it directly under the nose, let's move to the other side. Inhale, palm sweeps up. And we're gonna hold for 3 or 4 deep breaths. Each exhale pulling us into our twist just a little bit deeper. Allow the shoulder blade to slide back. Look up towards the ceiling. Circling the wrist if that feels good. Just make sure you do both directions a few times. And on our next exhale, bending the elbow, threading the needle, and coming into the other side. So once again, making sure we have space between the ear and the shoulder. And then decide if you want a deeper stretch. Do you want to walk the fingertips to the top of the mat? Do you want to reach tall to the ceiling? Or would you like to create a bind? Pick your option. Think of this as a buffet. Take what you want, leave what doesn't work for you today, and simply breathe. Each exhale is taking us and allowing us to relax and melt just a little deeper into our mats. Let's take one more big breath in. And then slowly release. Bringing the palm all the way back up. And releasing both palms down to the mat. If you have two blocks, you might want to take them on the long end like this, and we'll take a big step forward with our left foot. So we're coming into a supported lunge. If you have a thinner mat, it might feel good to double up your mat under the knee to create a little bit more padding. So if I had two blocks on the long end, I could stack them this way. You're also welcome to bring your hands on top of the thigh. A little deeper yet is inhaling arms overhead, exhaling slight back bend. So take the option that works best for your body today. Our goal is about a minute. When we pay attention to the breath, it helps us realize if we're pushing our bodies too far. So for example, if you're noticing that you're moving to more of a shallow chest breath, it means we're going a little bit too far for our bodies today. We want to be able to maintain the long, smooth, deep belly breath where the belly is rising and falling. Last deep breath in. I'm just going to show you the side view here. So I'm in my supported lunge, and then we're going to shift back and find half splits. So again, if you have your blocks, that might be easier to lift upright. My front leg is straight. I'm pulling the big toe into the chin. Breathing as you hold. Even in yoga, where we don't do a lot of flowing and a lot of movement, still creates warmth in the body, which is great. Continuing to breathe. If you don't feel the stretch, you can work on sitting back a little deeper into it, pulling the toe just a little bit closer to your chin. And then with our next inhale, we're going to bend the knee and heel toe your foot to the outer edge of your mat. Hands come to the inside of the foot, or perhaps your block. We're going to come into lizard pose. So that can look a lot of different ways. For some of us that have tight hips, we may need to stay upright like this. Some of us may be able to come down onto our forearms. So we're working our way deeper and deeper into the hip. And we're going to focus on our long, smooth breath as we hold. Once we've mastered this video and you can successfully hold all of these poses for the minute, you can always work your way into holding longer. Work up to 2 minutes and then 3 minutes. It's so great to increase your flexibility. Inhale, begin to lift your way back upright. And we are going to heel toe our foot all the way across the mat. So this is setting up for pigeon pose. And when you approach pigeon this way, you have a lot of control how deep you go into the pose. So notice my heel is in towards the midline. That makes it a little less intense in the hip. If you wanted a deeper stretch, you'd bring your shin more parallel to the top of the mat. Then we want to make sure weight's equally distributed. So you could take the rolled up blanket or even your block and put it under the hip if needed. You could also take the blanket or block out in front of you and then rest the forearms. Or perhaps you want to just stack the fist and then rest the forehead down. Once you find your end point, just focus on your deep belly breathing. If you're noticing that you have particular tight areas in the hip, let's draw the breath into those tight areas. Then with each exhale, visualize that area releasing and letting go so that you're able to physically sink or melt a little deeper into your mat. Let's inhale. Slowly lift the chest back upright. We're going to bring our front knee to join our back knee, spread them a little bit wider, and then release into child's pose. Let's use our next inhale to make our way back up into tabletop. And let's go through cat-cows again. Inhaling, belly comes up. As we lift, belly goes down, head comes up, shoulder blades slide down our back. Exhale, tuck and round. And then go ahead and make your way back and forth. Last one in each direction. When you're ready, giant step forward with the right foot. So we're coming into our supported lunge on the other side. So again, you can have the long edges of the block on either side, or we can bring our hands to our thigh, or you can come into the little baby back bend. So pick the option that feels right for you today. And hopefully what you're finding is that maybe halfway through the stretch, you're feeling your body respond by opening up and creating a little bit more space. And when that happens, feel free to push yourself into the stretch a little bit deeper. So in this stretch, that would mean we're pushing our hips a little bit closer to our mats. Breathe. We're over halfway there. Relaxing all the muscles in our bodies. And then on our next breath, hands come down, push back, finding half splits. So our front leg is straight. We're pulling our big toe in towards our chin. As the hamstring stretch eases, maybe you can pull the toe a little bit closer to the chin. And using our next breath, we put a bend in the knee, heel toe to foot to the outer edge of the mat, and let's make our way down into lizard. So remember all your options. Maybe you need to come down to your block, maybe you can come a little bit lower, or maybe you even need to have your arms extended. This is your yoga class, and you decide what the end point is. Breathing into the hips. On our inhale, slowly make your way back upright and start to heel toe your foot across the mat. Coming into pigeon pose now. So you have the option to tuck the back toes under and drag the pelvis back an inch or two. So maybe we come to the block here, or maybe you just stack your fist and you rest your forehead. Breathing and holding. We're going to let go of judgment and expectations. Remember, we always practice based on how we feel today, not how we felt in our last class. We're always striving to make the pose fit our body. We never make our body fit the pose. Last deep breath in. And we'll slowly draw ourselves back upright. Bring your back leg all the way around. Remember that if you're feeling something, it's likely working. Let's take your block and let's place it lengthwise, or if you have a pillow, that's fine too, under your shoulder blades. So I'm going to show you with my knees bent. Bending your knees is going to make it a little bit easier on your low back. Our goal is to find maximum sensation with each pose, but without pushing ourselves too hard. So know your limits. So I'm coming to my forearms and then I'm draping myself over my block. This is restorative fish. So notice my head is being supported by my mat. If it's not, you would need to take a second block or maybe even a little pillow and place it under your head. We don't want it hanging out there in space. And remember, yoga is a process. So there's no true destination. We're just always practicing. So you can open up your arms here as you hold this restorative fish. And if there's one place where you feel maximum sensation, you can pause there and just breathe into it. If you want to go a little bit deeper, you can start to extend the legs. And if you're feeling any sense of discomfort, you might want to play with where the block is. And by moving it and shifting it just an inch or so, you might find a different sensation. Let's take one last full cycle of breath. And then we're going to slowly roll to our side, checking in with our body, noticing how you feel. And before we roll back over, remove the block and then just slide the lowest level of the block under your hips. This is restorative bridge pose. So restorative bridge is actually a passive inversion. So that's really creating increased circulation, and it's very healthy for us. So feel free to stay right here in restorative bridge. And again, you might need to change this block location around just a little bit to create a little bit more comfort. Draw your shoulder blades down and in, and stay here, or choose to come into a reclined modified version of shoulder stand. So you're going to stack your heels right on top of your hips, and then we're going to actively pull the big toes down towards our chin. Close your eyes and breathe. In certain poses, 1 minute can feel like a long time, especially if you're pushing right up to your edge and it's a bit of a challenge for you. Two more deep breaths in here. On our next exhale, we'll slowly bend one knee and then the other, taking one more full cycle of breath here in our restorative bridge. And then we'll slowly remove the block and rock your knees from side to side. Keep your block or your pillow nearby. Open your arms wide like a letter T to either side. Bring your heels together. Pick them up and shift them to the left about an inch, and then drop both knees to the right, allowing the pillow or the block to catch. So you can gaze up to the ceiling looking in neutral, or if you want to counter the twist, you can turn and look away from your knee. So that's going to make it a little bit more intense. Breathing into the twist and really focusing on the breath to clear the mind, and bringing our breath into the tight areas of our low back. Let's inhale, slowly making our way back to center, and then exhaling, picking up the hips, moving them to the right an inch or two, dropping our knees to the left, and again, using your pillow or block to close the distance and let the knees just gently relax. If you're more comfortable with your gaze in neutral, that's perfectly okay, or you're welcome to turn and look away from your knees. Breathing and holding. Eyes can be closed. And inhale, slowly bringing our knees back to center. Bringing your feet about hip distance apart and rocking them once more from side to side. And then extending both legs straight out in front of us with our arms overhead. Full body stretch. Reach as long as you can. And then slowly pull your arms down into your sides, shoulder blades down and under, coming into final relaxation or corpse pose. So closing our eyes, giving ourselves this time to let our minds and our bodies simply be. So with each breath, really sinking into corpse pose, breathing only through the nose. On your next inhale, start to wiggle the fingers and toes. Bend the knees, keeping our eyes closed. Move your hands to the lower part of your belly, just underneath the belly button, and confirm the rise and the fall of your belly. Let's take the right arm overhead, bending the knees, rolling onto our right side. Our knees are bent in fetal position. Our head and neck is resting on our outstretched arm. And then when you're ready, pressing the left palm in front of your chest to help yourself back up into a comfortable seated position. Remember, as you carry on with your day today, the breath is our most powerful tool to help calm and relax our bodies and to clear our minds. So use it. Keep that tool in your toolbox. Use it wherever you are. It helps us get deeper into our poses, but it also helps us whether we're sitting in traffic or standing in a long grocery line, so we can use that tool at any time. Let's close with one last deep breath in. Inhaling, arms all the way up overhead, stretching tall. Exhale, hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today.